Honourable members, this is communication number 39 of 2020 relating to notice of motion for the removal of the Cabinet Secretary for Transports, Infrastructure, Urban Development, and Public Works. Honourable members, I wish to notify the House that pursuant to the provision standing under 66, subsection 1, on the 17th of June 2020, the Clerk of the National Assembly did receive a notice of motion from the member for Nyali constituency, the Honorable Mohamed Mohamed, MP, notifying his intention to move a special motion for the removal of the Cabinet Secretary for Transports, Infrastructure, Urban Development and Public Works, Mr. James Macharia, EGH, in accordance with the provisions of Article 152, Clause 6 of the Constitution and Standing Orders 64(1)A and 66. The proposed motion seeks the resolution of the House to require His Excellency the President to dismiss the said Cabinet Secretary from office on two grounds. That is, number one, gross violation of Articles 10, Clause 1, Paragraph C, and 2, Clause Paragraph A, and 73 of the Constitution. Number two, gross misconduct contrary to Article 125 of the Constitution. Honourable members, from the onset, allow me to observe that I have previously guided this House on the processing of special motions for removal of state officers, including on the thresholds that must be met under Thean 2. Consequently, I will not attempt to restate my guidance. Further, as you are aware, every member has a right under Article 152, Clause 6 of the Constitution, and Standing Order number 66, to move the House to remove a Cabinet Secretary. The Standing Orders require that before giving notice of such a motion, under Standing Order number 66 in the House, the member must, however, deliver to the clerk a copy of the proposed motion in writing, stating the grounds and particulars in terms of the said article, upon which the proposed motion is made. The notice ought to be signed by the member and also signed in support by at least 1/4 of all members of the Assembly, which are 88 members of this House. Honourable members, Standing Order 47, subsection 3, and indeed my previous communications on this matter require that upon receipt of the proposed motion, the Speaker is to make a determination on its admissibility and dispose of the motion within 3 days. The criteria for admissibility is provided for under Standing Orders 64(1)A and 66, and the precedents contained in my previous communications on motions and procedure for removal of persons from constitutional offices. In furtherance to the provisions of Article 259, Clauses 5 and 6 of the Constitution, regarding the counting of time, today's sitting presents the earliest opportunity for me to make the decision on the proposed motion known to the House, since the 3 days ended yesterday, which was not a sitting day. Honourable members, in this regard, I wish to observe as follows. One, it's evident that the motion proposed by the Honourable Member for Nyali constituency has fulfilled the precondition of requisite support under Article 152, Clause 6 of the Constitution and Standing Order 66, subsection 1, having been supported by 90 members who have appended their respective signatures alongside the motion. And number two, whereas the Honourable Member has specified the particulars under each ground and also cited Articles 10, 73, and 125 of the Constitution as the provisions that the Cabinet Secretary has allegedly violated, the proposed motion fails on one important requirement. Standing Order 64(1)A requires that a proposed motion be accompanied by necessary evidence, including annexures or sworn testimonies in respect of the allegations. Indeed, the only way that the Speaker is able to make a determination as to whether the particulars provided under each ground may contain a gross violation of the Constitution or gross misconduct is by examining the evidence so provided in support of the allegations before approving the motion. The notice of motion by the member for Nyali constituency lacks any annexures or sworn testimonies or any other evidence thereto. In the circumstances, I'm unable to confirm whether the allegations contained in the notice meet the thresholds, or indeed whether there are any nexus between the allegations and the role of the Cabinet Secretary as required by the standing orders. Honourable members, to admit a proposed motion that is not supported by any evidence of how, for instance, the Cabinet Secretary has grossly violated the Constitution by failing to conduct public participation in implementing policy decisions at the ministry, or allegedly failed to deliver on key infrastructure, as alleged by the Honourable Member for Nyali, or even the alleged loss of 5.2 billion shillings at the Ministry of Health, would not only be a violation of the standing orders, but would amount to enjoining the House to go on a wild goose chase. Honourable members, in view of the foregoing, and pursuant to the provisions of standing orders 47, subsection 3, paragraphs A and E, it is therefore my determination that the proposed motion by the Honourable Member for Nyali constituency is inadmissible, having failed to comply with the provisions of Standing Order 64, 1A, paragraph C. Consequently, the clerk is hereby directed to formally communicate this decision to the Honourable Member. Honourable members, it's also important to mention that I have received requests from a number of members claiming to desire to withdraw their signatures from the motion. The honourable members include the Honourable John Paul Mwirigi, MP, the Honourable Dr. Makali Mulu, MP, the Honourable Charles Nguna, MP, the Honourable Mboni Mwalika, MP, the Honourable Nimron Bai, MP, the Honourable Edith Nyenze, MP, the Honourable Dr. Irene Kasalo, MP, the Honourable Engineer Thandius Kidhua Nzambia, MP, the Honourable Joshua Kimilo, MP, the Honourable Moses Kirima Ngushine, MP, and the Honourable Nashri Ibrahim, MP. May I restate the provision of Standing Order number 66, subsection 4, which provides that any signature appended to a motion of this kind cannot be withdrawn. It is expected that a member of parliament acclimatizes himself or herself with the contents of a motion or a notice thereof before appending a signature. It may be remembered that the foundation of Standing Order 66, subsection 4, which is meant to provide a transparent process for actualizing the provisions of Articles 144.1, 145.1, and 152.6 of the Constitution, was contained in my communication of October 23, 2015, during the 11th Parliament. The members and the House are therefore accordingly guided and advised as they also continue to hold other state officers to account. Be guided never to append your signatures to something that you do not understand. I thank you, honourable members.
Order number 3, messages.
Honourable members, I have a short message. Honourable members, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 42, subsection 1 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, I wish to report to the House that I have received a message from His Excellency the President seeking the National Assembly's approval of Ms. Nancy Janet Kabui Kadhungu for appointment as the Auditor General in exercise of powers vested in him by Article 229, subsection 1 of the Constitution, Section 11, subsection 7 of the Public Audit Act 2015, and Section 5 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011. Honourable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 45, I hereby refer this message, together with the curriculum vitae of the nominee, to the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning for consideration. Section 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act provides that the relevant committee of the House will consider the suitability or otherwise of the nominee and take his report for consideration by the House within 14 days from the date the notification of nomination is conveyed to the House. Honourable members, noting that the House will proceed on a short recess on July 3rd, 2020, in accordance with its calendar, the committee is advised to expeditiously proceed to notify the nominee and the public, commence the approval hearings in good time, and table his reports to enable the House to consider the matter within the statutory timelines. I thank you.